Are we live? Okay, I think we're live. I'm gonna try to scoot over here, block as much of that sun as possible. Okay. Lighting is always going to be terrible in here. But hey, we got a lot of stuff. We got some new story, but before I do that, we have a lot of free crap. Because unless you weren't already aware, but most people who are watching this already are if you're watching this live, it is the 6-year anniversary for Shadowverse. 2016. It feels like it was so long ago, right? So long ago. They've been giving away 10 free packs this whole week if you've been logging in. This story says it'll only be available till the 27th of June, so we're going to do this sooner rather than later. So I want to redeem 5 of these. We're probably going to spend our 10 bonuses on Rosenna Congles, because I still want to get that Belphomet later. Who knows, maybe we'll get lucky. I tend to get better pack openings when I do this live. Good stuff. Ooh, Parasol Witch. I don't think I've seen that card before.
Oh dear, I'm not late, am I?
Oh, it's Evolve. It's an Evolve card for Rune. Neat. +1/+1 in Storm for 5. That's a big ask, but it is a 2/2 for 2, so baseline it's a good card. Cosmic Angel, I think I already have 3 of those, so that's just more vials. Rejuvenate the Spark.
Just like new. Just like new.
It's a Blood Machina card. Robots can continue functioning thanks to the remnants of their creator left behind. Combined with ancient technology of Natera, they can live without fear of destruction. A miscalculation, but a happy one. Ah, so that's why Mono isn't fucking dying. I thought it was weird that like she was that close to expiring that she's not so worried about that after Belphomet's demise. But it looks like they're using Belphomet's parts to keep them alive. That's cool! We're gonna miss you, Belphy boy. We're gonna miss you. And let's get some more. Some more for the law. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I need that water. Nothing. Junk. Junk pack. Nothing. Guild Assembly.
How fun it is to converse. How fun it is to converse.
If allied followers have evolved at least 3 times this match, draw a card. Then if allied followers have evolved at least 5 times, restore 5 defense. Then if allied followers have evolved 7 times, give +2/+2 in rush. That is a jank card. That should be a silver. Oh, Nefarious Invasion. Good card. I think I already have a 3 of them. Anea!
There's a reason we're alive. Fighting's scary, but you're not alone now. Valdane, you're a really nice person. What should we play today, Roly Poly? What do you think? By my power, I want to see more, to do more. I want to see more, to do more.
Okay, what does this do? Fanfare, enhance 9, summon a He Who Once Rocked, and a Colossal Skull Lord. Once on each of your turns, when you perform Necromancy, summon a Jack Shovel Gravedigger. At the end of your turn, summon an Assembly Droid. If you have more evolution points than your opponent, summon a Bone Drone instead. You Once Rocked, Assembly Droid, Colossal Skull Lord. Interesting. This card has so much going on in it. Okay, cool. That's kind of cool. Kind of cool. I think it's funny that this set is very old, and I still haven't really gone all that into it yet. Probably opened over 200 packs of this by now. Hey, but we got one legendary out of 15 packs. 2 legendaries, 3 legendaries out of 15 packs. My luck is with me. I now have like 6 of Meowskers, though. Alright, got some of these. We want to be spending our gold on some of the new stuff. Celestial Dragoon.
Pay thy reverence. Heaven demands it.
Ward. If this follower has at least 3 defense, gain the ability to evolve for 0. Well, that's a good card for my butt dragon deck. And then evolve. +1/+1 to all dragon components in your deck. Deal X damage to enemy follower. X equals this follower's. That's good. Butt dragon rides again. King of Vines. Man, we're on a roll. Accelerate for 1. Put a King of Vines in your deck. Invocation. At the start of your turn, if at least 15 Forest Craft followers have left play this match, invoke this card. Fanfare, game 3 was 3 enemy follower. Okay card. Boring card, but an okay card nonetheless. Ooh, that is a card I wanted. This card is broken. For those who don't know, it puts some of these in your deck. And some of these. And some of these. Bell ringing angel. Alright. Tactical dog. This was one of the cards you could vote for the leader. Nope, didn't want me to hit that. Oh yeah, so much of my stuff doesn't work anymore. Alright. I have one of this. I need to get multiple. This is a deck I was building. Okay, this one's rotated. This one's rotated. I don't know, just put 3 of these guys in. 2 more of these in. What's another good legendary? And we go. I think that works. Fun deck. Finish it at another time. Back to shopping. Okay. I know we have a few more to reveal. Omen of Storm. A set that I barely opened anything from. I'm not really big on the Omen. It's before my time. But free cards are free cards, and we love the vials. Now, if this little side story that we unlocked here is going to be the same as the previous 2 side stories that we played through on stream, I'm willing to bet that in no way will there be any gameplay in them, but it'll be nice to catch up on characters we haven't seen in a while. Oh, I just realized, since Orisa showed up in Velsar / Reveal, I wonder if that means if Erica is going to show up in the Amoxa Empyrean Inn. Although it kind of looks like Maisha is already about to show up, so maybe we don't get any of the main cast reoccurring. I just love how everything comes together, though. Select a follower. If it's an enemy follower, remove all its effects except for changes that take in defense. If it's an allied follower, activate its last word effects. Cool. Kuon! Wu Wuxing Master.
Elemental mastery. Take a good look. Fact. Truth. More like nonsense. Now you've done it. Like a drifting cloud. Elemental mastery. Piss your pants yet? Piss your pants yet?
That really? That's the evolve quote you're going for? Not what I expected.
Piss your pants yet?
Alright, what do you do, man? When this card has been spell boosted 5 times, recover 2 play points and summon a demonic Shikigami paper. You don't even have to play it? Oh, it's fanfare. Okay. If the card has been spell boosted at least 10 times, recover 4 play points instead and summon a celestial Shikigami instead of a paper Shikigami. If this card has been spell boosted at least 15 times, summon a noble Shikigami instead of a demonic Shikigami. Evolve, give rush to all allied paper Shikigami and demonic Shikigami, celestial Shikigami, and noble. This is a meh card to me. I'm sure it's good. I do not doubt that it is good. It's just, if you set up ahead of time when you play it, it looks like you get a big board that can trade into things. Which, I guess it could function as a semi-board clear. Alright. Newest set. Opening lots of packs today. Call of the Great Arm.
Answer the call. Answer the call.
Put burial right. Put copies of 2 allied Shotcraft followers with different names. Destroy this match into you. That's a good card. That's a 1 mana draw 2 effectively. At worst, it's a 1 mana 1/1. And unless you're stupid, it's a 1 mana do nothing. Although I guess it's 2 cards for 2 cards, so it's not that bad. It's fair and balanced. Rolling a look at the rares. From the most recent set, Ghost Town Apparition. Spooky. Ambush. At the end of your turn, transform all other followers except ghosts into ghosts. All other followers, so it's my opponent's stuff too. Whenever your opponent plays a follower, transform it into a ghost. Wow! I just realized this thing costs 10. That's a pretty cool card. Vaura Champion.
Mortal fists have not a prayer.
It's a Haven card. Whenever you play an amulet, subtract 1 from the cost of this card. Nice! So it's a 5/5 that could potentially cost 0. It has Rush. It has Clash Banish the enemy follower. This is a removal card. This is a removal card on a body. I like it. Oh, this was Igni's reveal card. Burgent Layered Sorceress. Random runecraft spell that costs 3 play points or less from your deck to your hand. Evolve, give your leader the following effect. At the end of your turn, opponent's turn, summon an Onion Patch. Onion Patch.
Coming through! Coming through! Wow!
Spell boost all the cards in your hand and strike. It's okay.
Say your prayers!
Oh, I get it. Layered Sorceress when she makes onions.
Take this! No way! Say your prayers! Say goodbye to this awful world! Say goodbye to this awful world!
Funny. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Story of a lifetime.
My masterpiece is complete.
It's a rune card. It's 2 mana spell, which we'll see play in spell boost. Discard a card, draw 2. So 1 for 2, not bad. And then we'll spell boost other stuff. I guess it's 2 for 2 because you're playing itself. So it's 2 for 2 for 2. Fair and balanced. Then if at least 15 cards have been added to your hand to protect this match, your starting hand doesn't count. Draw 2 cards. Oh, I hate that they added that extra line there. Interesting. Does this have something about the Empyrean in Edgebred? Ancient Bamboo in the second. Interesting. Alright. Another Burgent. We almost got a full set of 3 now. Man, they've just been handing out these free boosters, haven't they? We've opened almost like, what, 30 packs so far? And we have a free legend pack, I believe, as well, which I'm saving for last, as you can tell. Stay in Paradise. Put 2 different festive cards from your deck in your hand, excluding Stay in Paradise. If you have 1 or more legendary points, gain a play point. So it's an all upside card. I think I opened a copy of it earlier on a different stream. I'm debating whether I want to buy one of these. Leader guaranteed pack. Maybe. I'm debating it. Alright, Legend Pack. What are you giving me? Marlone! The channel mascot, I should make this guy. He's been the running joke for my entire story playthrough. Rest in peace, Marlone. You deserve it.
Judgment is a blessing. Balance must be observed.
I voted for him as one of the potential leaders, by the way, in case anybody was curious.
Quite the setback.
There were others that I wanted to vote for. Really, there were. But Marlone has a special place on this channel.
Judgment is a balance must quite the setback. Judgment is a blessing. When will reckoning come for me? When will reckoning come for me?
Prayers are a fool's fancy. Omnipotence is not a purview of the gods, but of the wealthy. Unlike the gods, cash is easy to understand. For every life you take and each thing you destroy, there is a reward. We're all going to die anyway. Why not enjoy ourselves while we can? The man, realizing the error of his ways, broke down and wept. He received a brand and a commandment. Give and liberate. Roaming from place to place, he preached balance for souls seeking salvation in a godless age, offering atonement where the gods could not. Such was the life of Marlone Median. As much as we love Belfie Boy, I think it's only appropriate. Oh yeah, I've got a new one of these, right? Okay. How do I change this again? Emblem, that's right. There we go. Marlone. Marlone, may you forever live on in our hearts. Ah, there it is. Gotta click down here. Limited time stories. The Missing Star. Homeward Breeze.
It's kind of weird to think how far I've come.
It is weird. It is very hot.
I mean, my whole world just stopped and
Let's just move my mic there. I feel like that covers everything.
Destruction and rebirth come per force. My hand will bring them to this land.
Oh yeah, didn't
Take
Nexus also
heed.
fight the dust?
Take heed. Take heed, take heed, take heed.
Scratch on a record there.
wait! No! You can't go! Losaria! Losaria!
This is a nice refresher.
Losaria! I was left scared, helpless, and alone. Having Losaria taken from me made me realize how much I relied on her and how little I could rely on myself. But you know what? That day was also the beginning of my big, crazy adventure.
Yeah, we went to a land full of guilds that wasn't Ravnica. We got to see a land, actually she didn't get to see the robot land, did she? She got dumped with Erica in Terra.
I left the forest and everything I knew and loved behind, and took my first venture out into the unknown. I saw a big, bustling city for the first time.
I thought the first city you would have met was... Actually, did she visit any of the cities before she went to the Morning Star? I'm trying to remember. I don't think she did.
It had more people than the forest has trees. Each and every single one with their own story and goals.
That's fun. That's a thing to think about. A city has more people than a forest has trees.
And for the first time, I saw war. I also saw how much more there is to nature than the little forest I knew.
Yes, Natera.
It felt like I could explore forever, and I'd never run out of things to see. Until I saw something that shouldn't have been there. Cold steel, threatening to rob the world of its bountiful life.
No, it's Belty Boy.
Then, I saw what a world without nature was like. Dry and dusty, struggling to survive.
There's nature there. It's just a different kind of nature. It's called the arid wasteland.
People traded blows, taking what they wanted by force, handing off their suffering to someone else.
I guess tundras would also be the same thing, but wet.
But they fought back against the cycle of loss, and took back the world stolen from them. It was a long adventure, but in the end, I found so much more than I lost.
Good for you.
And now, I'm back where it all began. Losaria's with me too. This time, we're ready to undergo the trials to become Forest Guardians. Together.
I wonder if she'll get to be the main character of a story arc later. Granted, how they bothered to give her a name. They didn't bother giving the princess a name.
This is where I prove how much I've grown. All right, Arisa. You've got this.
Why are you nervous, silly? You defeated Nexus, and now you're worried about the Forest Guardian trials?
That is a good point.
Of course I'm nervous. I've been dreaming of this day my whole life.
You have accomplished much greater deeds.
Oh, shh, I'm just teasing you. You look more than prepared.
I'm more worried Losaria's gonna fail now.
I'd rather have you cautious than risk a repeat of your little wood carving incident. Remember?
Oh, do tell.
Arisa, as our best craftsman, would you...
Losaria. Oh, and I'd finally managed to forget about that.
Glad to see you younglings back together.
Although now is not the time for friendly banter, we will now commence the trials. I trust you remember what they are.
Of course, Guardian. In order to prove ourselves capable of defending our sacred forest, we must overcome tests designed specifically for us by the Tree of Life. Arisa and I will be undergoing 2 archery trials to demonstrate our skill and resolve.
Correct. In all the seasons recorded amongst the Tree of Life's rings, not once did the world ever slumber. The 2 of you witnessed firsthand an event unlike any other.
Now, the forest will study the fruits of your journeys. Are you ready?
Ready as I will ever be.
Yes.
Very well. O Tree of Life, we ask you to bestow unto your seedlings the trial of skill.
Whoa! The branches are moving all on their own. Are they showering us with leaves? Oh, they're so glowy and pretty.
I missed Arisa. She's the ray of sunshine this game needs. Mine's are 2. 2 little rays of sunshine.
The rustling of the leaves sounds melodic, almost like they're singing.
The Tree of Life has blessed us with your first trial. Though they dance gently in the breeze, the glowing leaves you see have been imbued with great power.
Uh-huh, go on.
Each is as firm as if it were wrought from iron, and will be difficult to target.
Ah, iron leaves.
You will need to shoot with considerable speed and force to pierce them, but their size and erratic movement will also demand careful precision.
And the fact that you 2 are Forest Guardians means that you guys can do it, so I have complete confidence that they can.
To pass the trial, you must shoot 100 leaves before they reach the ground.
100?
You may begin.
There! Five down, 95 to go. I was hoping to get more than just 5, but I think the wind I summoned was too strong and blew the rest away from the arrow. I'll have to keep that in mind. Come on, Lusaria! Race you to 100!
What was that mana?
She has superpowers now.
This is the power of worlds beyond our own.
Yes, it was given to her by Viridia Magna, the mother of nature in a certain point of view.
No. That is the power of Arisa herself. She's explored, experimented, and grown so much. I ought to take a leaf out of her book.
Now summon the power of Nexus and destroy everything.
Ja, ja, huh. The mana flows so smoothly with the winds here. Guess the woods feel like Natera, huh? Oh, that howl! Time's up already? Whew. How'd we do on the first trial?
Well, allow me first to say that you, Arisa, did splendidly. You are no longer the little seedling you were. It is clear you've cast your roots deep and spread your branches far.
I forgot that she's like 26 or something, right?
Oh, Thank you.
I have a feeling Losaria didn't pass. Was I psychic? Was I correct?
Next, Losaria. You face the same trial as Arisa, one who wields the divine blessing of a distant world. Moreover, you did so without question, and with all the same power and precision. Excellent work.
Thank you, Guardian. I did my best.
We both passed?
This is the first trial. There's one more trial.
With flying colors.
We will now prepare the second trial. Rest, and ready yourselves for it.
Losaria, I...
Look on the bright side. She's not the Lord of Darkness anymore.
You were amazing, Arisa.
I just realized there's actually some parallels there, because they both technically got to be the villain of an arc. One of them was possessed by a keeper, and the other one was possessed by Icy.
I could see the confidence in each of your shots.
Note to self, possess an elf body. They are good for evil deeds. Now make a note of that for later. And that is my D&D group's problem now.
You've made so much progress. I'm going to have to work just as hard as you if I want to keep up.
Huh? Keep up? With me?
Oh my god, she's starting to realize, guys.
I knew how much you looked up to me, so I was afraid of trying anything new, of failing to be a perfect role model on the first try. But now, I don't need to be a role model, so I don't have to hold back. And neither do you. From today, we're rivals, so feel free to leave me in the dust. If you can.
You're on. Let's both give the next trial all we've got.
Ah, it appears we've caught you two at a good moment.
The trial of resolve is ready, and it sounds like you both are more than ready too.
Where's the Omen of One? Where is he?
Yep. I'll knock the trial out of the park.
I shall test your resolve.
Maybe, but I'm not letting you one-up me yet.
Now then, the wolves await.
Wolves.
The Tree of Life has summoned these beasts to test your resolve. Only those true of heart can defeat them.
True of heart?
So strength alone isn't enough.
Mati? Where are you, Mati?
Correct. Your body aims the bow, but it is your heart that aims the arrow. Think of what you're fighting for. You will stand on the marks here and there. The wolves will attack, but you must not leave your posts.
And be warned, if you do not defeat them, the wolves will return your spirits to the Tree of Life.
Seriously? See, this isn't a test. This is a fucking do or die. That's not a test.
They will? You know, last time I would have been too scared to try, but not now. I've got this.
That's it, Arisa. Show them your resolve.
If you are ready, take your places.
Feel the power of a full chromatic. Oh wait, that's the wrong game.
Yes, Guardian. Ready?
I'm ready too.
Very well.
Let the trial of resolve begin.
Here they come! All right, Arisa, stay calm. I trained for years to become a forest guardian. And finally beat Lusaria!
Oh, this is not going to be easy for her.
It didn't work! Ugh.
I think you're just pissing it off.
The arrows aren't phasing it at all. Am I not determined enough? But
I can't get through either. Am I that weak of heart?
no. Lusaria too?
Both of you, compose yourselves.
Think, what is resolve?
Think, if these two idiots can do it, you are named characters. You got this in the bag.
It isn't speed or physical might.
I'm almost out of french fries.
It's your determination, your reason to fight. This trial was designed to test your priorities. To test whether you're fit to be a forest guardian.
Try petting it.
Whether I'm fit to be a... Oh! This is my last arrow. My last shot. So I have to use it to protect what matters most.
Everything.
Lusaria!
Harissa, what are you doing? Why would you use your last arrow on my wolf? What about yours?
I don't know. When I saw you in danger, I had to do something.
I
But
see.
look, this wolf isn't attacking
That's
me
clever.
anymore.
I like the writing there.
It vanished. But I didn't, huh?
Congratulations, Arisa.
You have passed the trial of resolve.
I what?
This trial put you in a situation that forced you to act on instinct, revealing the true nature of your heart.
As I'm sure you now realize, you fight not for a title, nor to defeat others. You draw your bow to protect.
Your determination to help others is what made you the archer you are today. We are proud to welcome you as a forest guardian.
Fair enough. I was so caught up in the competition, I lost sight of what a guardian really is. I'll take my time and give the trials another go when I'm ready. Congratulations, Arisa.
Good for you. Use is your destiny.
Arisa?
Losaria? Guardians? I'm sorry, but I declined the position of Forest Guardian.
It's beneath you.
I know that's weird to say after taking the trials, but being a Forest Guardian was never really my goal.
It was Losaria's, and you were just following her.
It was Losaria's, and I wanted to be just like her. But after venturing out into the world, other worlds, and meeting so many people with their own hopes and dreams,
It's time to find your own.
I realized that I want to protect more than just my home or my friends. I want to help everyone, everywhere. Like a gentle breeze, guiding people forward.
What should we do?
I don't know what to do.
I don't know. This is the first time anyone's ever rejected the position.
We don't have a procedure for this? I mean, to be fair, here in the United States, we don't actually have a procedure for if the wrong person gets elected president. We don't have a procedure to put the correct one in office. That being said, it's such a niche thing that'll probably never come up. You can't plan for every contingency, no matter how hard you try. And trust me, I try. In the campaigns that I write for D&D, Pathfinder, etc., I tend to look into my players' mindset and choices and tend to predict with a fair level of accuracy every single possible route that they might take or might not take, and try to plan accordingly for that. You don't have to do that. You can BS it a lot more often. But I like to do this so that I give my players every opportunity to succeed. But every so often, they will still surprise me. Usually with the choices they don't make. Like when a mystery plot thread that they can't figure out despite how obvious it is. That the villain is literally monologuing in front of them and they can't pick that up as, oh, this is probably a bad guy. But what can you do? But let's see what these two have to do.
Go, Arisa. We'll be fine here.
Oh, are you sure?
Bye, Lysaria.
Of course. I made it through one of the trials, didn't I? I'll help the Forest Guardians defend the forest while I train, and rack up some experience of my own. Just like you did. You inspire me just as much as I used to inspire you. I promise I'll make my dream come true someday, so you follow yours, Arisa.
I will. Thank you, Losaria. Whoa!
It seems the Tree of Life wishes you the best for your journey.
This branch is a farewell gift to aid you on your travels.
Huh. Any ideas what to do with it?
It's a
Let
branch.
me know if you need any help carving.
I'll be okay on my own. I think I know what I want to make.
Wait, we just established a few sentences ago that she's bad at carving.
If I'm going to head out on another journey, I've got to go check on the others first. See ya!
Cool, but how does a piece of wood help you?
And she's gone. I can never keep up, but that bubbly personality of hers is always a breath of fresh air.
I know. It's one of the reasons why, despite the fact that I'm sitting here in 97-degree heat, I'm tolerating it, even with a fan pointed at me, full blast.
Are you going to be lonely without her, Lysaria? Your little Arisa's finally flown the nest.
I miss her already. But I'm glad she's doing what'll make her happy.
Wait, or she the one that was 26 and Lusaria is older than Arisa? I don't remember. I might have to go back and look at the story missions from the start. Or better yet, I'll just start rewatching my own streams from the beginning as I continue to put timestamps on all of them.
Arisa. I think the wind blew something in my eyes.
And yeah, there's like particles flying around everywhere. I believe that.
Wherever you go, don't look back. Fly higher and higher and higher.
No, you can look back. Always remember your roots. Just don't let them hold you
The wind's
down.
always pushing me somewhere. Sure, it strays this way and that, but I know it'll carry me somewhere new. I just have to leave behind the worries weighing me down and soar. I want to be that gentle push for others, so their ambitions can fly true and reach what matters most.
We're not going to find out what she carves out of that branch, are we?
What a pleasant breeze. Almost too pleasant. Like a certain someone is trying to nudge me forward.
Erica! That was definitely Erica's voice. Embers of Trust.
Every meeting is a flip of a coin, a roll of the dice.
Wait, why does this voice sound familiar?
Has fortune sent you a friend,
Oh, it's the princess, right?
or found you a foe? Nexus, the Keeper of Serenity. My kingdom was near devastated by
Yes,
one
it's the
whose very
princess.
name I knew not, until all had ended. I am a poor excuse for a princess. I should have been on the front lines defending my subjects.
It'd also be nice if you were a named character, but that's just my opinion.
No. What is done is done. Chance decides who plays what role in whose stories. Large or small, Fate's actors all have their parts, like pieces on a chessboard. Except each individual moves by their own logic, making it impossible to know the outcome of a game until it is played. The state then can only do one thing: ensure the pieces on our side of the board are prepared to face any eventuality. We now find ourselves back in reality, and I must weigh our next options carefully. If only our troubles had vanished along with the Keeper, but alas, life is not so simple as dreams. We still have other issues to worry about.
Like what?
And what have you to report, soldier?
I bring news from the Crown Prince. He sends a report of his meeting with our 4 neighboring states.
Excellent. What have the delegates decided?
They will assemble a team to formally investigate the matter and prevent any repeats amidst the mass confusion and conflict caused in the wake of the Serenity incident.
Well, they're handling this quite politically.
I see. It has been far too long in coming, but finally we shall bring the truth to light. That kingdom can hide its bloody past no longer. They turned blades against their own people to silence opposition, then attempted to dispose of the agents forced to execute their countrymen. And soon, we will prove their guilt to all.
Oh, so Erica's getting her redemption arc this late into the story.
Yes, on that note, I also have a personal message for you from the Crown Prince. It reads as follows.
Oh boy. Crown Prince of this one or the neighboring kingdom?
Haha, you can thank me later, sis. Say hi to Erica.
Who the fuck is this Crown Prince and why haven't we met them yet?
Why is he like this? Thank you, and I apologize for my brother's conduct.
Only doing my duty, Your Highness. If I may take my leave, I will now return to my post. May fortune smile upon Alistair.
Wait. Alistair, that's a card. Oh, I don't remember him.
As much of a lazy goof as he is, I suppose I can't be mad at my brother this time. Can you believe he actually convinced everyone? Erica? Oh, right. I'm too used to her always being right behind me. That was the last audience I had scheduled, so I guess I can go pull Erica away from work to say hi? Crown Prince's orders.
Yep.
That was a good, strong swing. Make sure not to let your momentum unbalance you, though. If my blade work is fast and fiery, yours needs to be flexible and fluid. Flow backwards with the strikes, then come rushing forward again like a wave.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you for sparring with me, Lady Erica.
Man, she's tougher than ever.
She's the princess's bodyguard for a reason. I mean, who could go toe-to-toe with a knight who's trained in other worlds?
Right? She's the modern Balthazar. The only person I can think of who even comes close is Commander Dragspear. You know, the one who went missing after slaying the Black Dragon.
Interesting. It all ties together.
I hope he's all right, wherever he is. It's not his fault what happened.
Rowan will return. He has people here waiting for him, people he must protect. I have faith that he won't try their trust in him much longer.
She knows better than anyone. She knows that he lives and that he's relatively fine. In fact, he's even managed to turn the Black Dragon's curse to his favor.
Now, we can't have him returning to rusty troops, can we? I'm happy to assist you with your training. Care for a bout?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. I want both of you to attack me together. If either one of you can land a hit, you both win the match. Begin.
How are we supposed to do that?
Easy. Go for her ankles. Most people don't guard their ankles. At least that's my experience in sparring.
Calm down. We've got her outnumbered. If we rally our strength, I'm sure we can at least...
Try to flank.
Calm. Analytical. You've got an eye for strategy.
We can at least...
But your opponent isn't going to stand around waiting their turn while you assess the situation.
How? But you were just... You vanished!
Counter-Solari methods.
I used a common assassination technique. Helmets create blind spots, and I don't have shiny, clanking armor to tell you where I've gone. Remember that enemies won't always fight you head-on, or with honor.
If this were a real fight, I would have been dead before I knew what happened.
That is exactly why I'm instructing you in the dark, bloody arts of assassination. Not to stain your hands, but to teach you how to defend yourselves and your country from them. Does that make sense?
Yes. She's teaching you the dirty tricks that I would use in a fight.
Yes, ma'am.
Erica's come so far from who she used to be. Now it's my turn.
Why is this story being told from the princess's
That will
point
be
of
all
view?
for today's lesson. Good work, soldiers. At ease.
Thank you, Lady Erica.
I like Erica's redesign.
Being a drill master is more work than I thought. If anything,
I still don't like that her
I feel
outfit
like
makes
I'm
her look like a
learning more
maid, but I
about
know that's the
teaching than
point.
they are about fighting.
Erica!
Princess?
You were amazing, Erica. I just finished my work a moment ago too, so I'd say it's high time the both of us took a break. Come on, let's go back to my room and relax. I've missed having your tea.
Whew. I'm gonna run out of napkins.
All right. But please don't tug on my arm so hard. Here you are, Your Highness. I mixed in extra sugar and some honey for you.
Just a reminder for everybody, I have stated multiple times in this series that Erica is my least favorite of the main cast. It took until Natera for her to actually grow on me to the point where I actually like her now. But even then, I would still say she's my least favorite. She's gone from me hating her to me liking her. Which means, honestly, she's probably equivalent to where I put Arias. Arias is great and all, but he's just not my type. Is Arias really my least favorite character now? I gotta fucking stew on that for a bit. I still think it's Erica. Isabel is my favorite in terms of story, motivations, and writing. Arisa is just a cinnamon roll, and I can't not do anything but love her. Ewan is interesting. I feel like we'll expand upon him more in the future, and they're setting him up for that, because his big bad seems to be the main big bad of the whole story. With Nerva, who recently learned how to turn off caps lock. Ilganu was super interesting. I wouldn't call her part of the main cast, but she was a very, very interesting character. But as for the main cast goes, Erica probably still my least favorite. Luna creeped me out a lot at the start. Looking at where she is now, she's likable. I can't hate her. She's got an interesting story. She's got an interesting characterization. And at the end of the day, she still is a child, so she garners some of my sympathy. Erica should know better. She practically became a villain in the second arc of the series, and I'm still trying to come back from that.
Thank you.
I wish that she got another arc to expand on her character, kind of like how we got Arisa and Reveal. I mentioned earlier that I theorized that she might show up in the next arc, but it's starting to look like we might not, and we might get Maisha to take that place in that role.
It smells so nice.
I'm all for expanding on Maisha's story because it felt
You make
so
the
empty
best
and
tea in the
so
kingdom.
what's the term? Like her being the twist villain in Asunia was fucking. It was bad.
You were so dashing back there, teaching the soldiers. Do I really have to share you with them?
Like they were setting it up, the twist villain to be the leader of the Order of the Blade or whatever they're called, only for him to be dead, and that Maisha was pulling the strings the whole time. That was bad.
You were watching? I appreciate the compliment, but...
I appreciate you, Erica. Things haven't been the same without Commander Dragspear. We were in sore need of someone to keep the soldiers on top of their training. Though the dreams of serenity have dissipated, We still have many other challenges to deal with.
The kingdom is hard to run.
Yes. I will do all in my power to ensure that Alistair's forces are well prepared for any obstacles fate puts in our path.
Oh, Alistair's the kingdom's name. Okay. I'll move that fan so it's blowing more in this direction. You might start hearing it a little bit more in the mic. It might start picking it up.
Just as you have long endeavored to avoid needless sacrifice.
I've done no such thing.
Oh.
Princess?
I sent you to face Urias Formond, last of the vampires, knowing fully well it could have spelled your...
What are you saying? It is my duty and honor to defend you, with my life if need be.
Your honor? I have done nothing to merit such a noble sacrifice.
Of course you...
No, I have not. And you know that as well as I.
Sad music.
Alistair has failed her people many times. We have spilt our soldiers' blood for no other purpose than to also spill the blood of our neighbors, while our peasantry starved in the Black Dragon's shadow. I knew the people were suffering, but what did I do about it? Nothing. I squandered my royal privilege, praying someone else would save the countless subjects I left to die. Erica, I fear there is little to call noble about nobility.
I'm not a big fan of nobility and monarchies anyway.
Princess, what's gotten into you all of a sudden?
I have hidden terrible things from you, and my heart breaks at the thought of revealing them.
Then don't. But let me just shove Erica aside for a minute, and then you can tell me. Because I am very interested.
But I must. I will. I've seen how much you've grown, and wish to confront my own fears.
What do you mean?
Erica, allow me to tell you of my greatest regret. It concerns a political purge within a certain country.
Ah, yes.
Those in power assembled a covert force of assassins to eliminate rebels and rivals. And once all opposition was gone, they turned on you. I've known your history and how it pains you, but always feigned ignorance.
You...
Alistair conducted an undercover investigation, you see. The key figures of a rebellion do not suddenly die one after another by coincidence. And... we had evidence of their plans to silence their own assassins. I knew, Erica. I knew.
No.
So she could have prevented the death of all of her friends and family. Neat.
I should have stopped them. How I wish I could have. But I was powerless to interfere. The most I could manage was sending the guards at the border away on an errand, so I could wait and aid anyone who escaped.
You were waiting for me?
What's wrong, dear? I can see your body and soul hurting. Do you believe in fate? I know I do. Would you come serve under me? Not you specifically. I had no guarantee I'd encounter anyone at all, but fate brought us together, for good or for ill. I am deeply sorry for the precious lives lost to my incompetence. Both those of your companions, and those you were forced to claim. I'm sorry I offered you a home not out of compassion, but to ease my own conscience. I am sorry. I do not ask your forgiveness. I don't deserve it.
That isn't true. You aren't responsible for what happened to us.
You shouldn't hold people accountable for lives they didn't save. But at the same time, if she's being honest and says there was nothing in her power she could have done, she technically did everything she could. When it comes to, like, I think the best example I can think of is, like, Good Samaritan law. Like, let's say you walking down the street and then you see someone getting stabbed in an alleyway. If you pretend to look the other way and do nothing, that is morally reprehensible. If you should do what you can. And also you should try to be aware of things like the bystander effect that'll make it so that the more people are around, the less likely one of them is to act or do something. You can look that up on your own time. Just look bystander effect. But as far as things go, if people do having the opportunity to do good and acting against it is morally apprehensible. Ignorance, I tend to lean towards that as a gray area. But at least she didn't actively do harm. If there was nothing that she could have done, she could have done it. There's probably sovereignties. Like, let's say, like, I can't go over to Russia right now and stop Putin from doing shady shit in his country. It's in his country. There's only so much people who are in power can do. They can do plenty within the borders of their own countries, but dealing in the matters of others, even if they're aware of what's going on, the most they could have done is try to make it public. That's what I think I would have done in her situation. But because she didn't think of it, I won't hold her responsible for that.
And I'm not any better. I have my own fair share of secrets and people I've failed.
Also, she's a princess. There might be a king above her that might have actually been responsible. Or been able to do something. Or her brother. Or both. I don't know. This has been a long aside. Let's just move on.
I ran. My companions gave their lives to buy me time, so I could run away and pretend like they never existed. I used you to wash my hands of the assassinations and live comfortably amongst nobility. I'm no different from my country.
Is that all our relationship was? Using each other to lick our wounds? I've seen you light up with a smile at the sight of me. Felt the little moments of hesitation before you wriggled out of surprise hugs. I know the sweet, gentle warmth you can brew into a cup of tea. The time we spent together wasn't just some plot to escape our pasts. At least, it wasn't to me.
It may have started that way. It doesn't mean it ended that way. You're making assumptions.
Or to me. I refuse to believe there wasn't genuine kindness and sympathy in all those tackle hugs.
Tackle hugs?
And I know you only gave me dangerous missions because you fully trusted me to come home safely.
Oh, Erica. Let's drop all the princess and retainer nonsense and just be ourselves. No more secrets or self-pity. From now on, we're just two girls, helping each other help ourselves.
Do we get a name?
It would be my pleasure. The two of us could both stand to show ourselves a little more compassion.
We certainly could afford ourselves some more love and forgiveness.
Name?
How would you suggest we go about it?
Name? You could start calling each other by names.
For me, at least. I have some loose ends to tie up. By your leave.
Nicknames?
Or rather, with your blessing. I think I need to finish what I've started before I can truly move on.
I thought I heard my roommate calling out to me.
Oh, I sense a fighting spirit like few
Oh
others.
no. She's gonna go fight Arias again.
It is in... No. It is leaving the human's castle and coming towards me. She knew the scent of boiling blood would alert me, and has thrown down the gauntlet. I am reminded of when you arrived, Balthazar. Her pulse beats like a war drum. Yes, we will have a good dance tonight, old friend.
So we're gonna check. So after the defeat of Baphomet, they all got sent home. Interesting. They all got sent home, except for Orisa, who got sent to Reveil for some reason.
I am not one to dwell on the past. I am a vampire, burdened with many memorable years. They flow past like cheap, unpalatable wine. But I thirst for a different vintage.
Ooh, Phantasma's life. So for those of you who play... Oh my gosh, the temperature jumped to 101. But yeah. So it would seem that if any of you guys play Lost Word on your phones, feel free to message me. You can find my Discord links in the About pages, and it should be in most of the thumbnail descriptions of older videos. I have not been uploading it, or I have not been remembering to put it in every video description, but it is still on my About page, and the links to it are around. You can always leave a comment on my videos. I do reply to them all. Because right now, at the time of this video, I'm only in the 40s, about to break the 50s in terms of subscribers on YouTube, so I don't expect a lot of comments. Twitch, on the other hand, we're a little bit higher. But yeah, let's jump back into our vampire brawler.
Something finer. A rare, exquisite challenge that makes the blood run hot. I never thought to search my past for entertainment. Why would I? But perhaps I was too hasty in my judgment. I enjoy you. I approve of your power. Now show me your thirst for victory.
Thirst, huh? Well, I threw that away long ago.
We never addressed the whole Nicola Adele thing either, actually, now that I think about it. It was hinted that he was from Aeolon, and he might be one of Baphomet's creations. It never got addressed in the story.
Then now is the time to recover it. May our revelry begin.
Well, or I should say that they brought up the plot thread, and they never followed up on it.
Worth recovering indeed. The memories I discarded long ago have a taste unlike any other. Well, what is this? You seem to be taken by the dance of battle. Let me revel with you.
Good! A duet is best performed when the dancers are evenly matched. Anything else would be a disappointment.
How fortunate I am to discover this side of you. Memories wane and fade, yes. But then they rise in the mind's darkness, much like the way the moon climbs the sky each night.
Wasn't his Serenity dream just fighting Balthazar over and over again?
Assuming you are unable to find a suitably dramatic end, or if you happen to perish at random, out wandering in some distant dimension, I'll find you and kill you myself.
How perplexing. What other treasures hide in the shadows of my mind? What novelties did I fail to see in the blood-stained darkness of my past? Surely there must be something. Something more, buried in the long and illustrious history of Urias Formond.
Yeah, seriously, this guy's got to have a lot of interesting things in his past that he's just chose or elected to not remember. I forgot that his redesign doesn't look all that different, to be honest.
It seems I must interrupt my dreaming and attend to my ever more entertaining guest. I need hardly ask, but what brings you to grace the halls of my castle?
You should know what I'm here for.
Yes, well, I hope you have not come empty-handed. It is only polite to bring a weapon when you call upon a vampire. Especially one you have been sent to get rid of. Balthazar's heir has named me a threat, has she not?
Are you a threat?
To this country, or to you?
Don't play dumb. When our intelligence brought reports of your return, the princess deployed the kingdom's full might as quickly and covertly as possible. And yet, you've done nothing but watch.
Ah, yes. You see, I was curious what became of the humans freed from Nexus's dream. So I took a stroll through the castle town. They were filled with remarkable power of will, steeled in the fires of Serenity's forge. They have grown strong. Nexus has done us a great service, and not by coincidence, I imagine.
Then why haven't you acted? You pick fights with anything and everything. You eradicated your own kind, but now you're content to sit around and watch the humans grow?
Ah, so this is the purpose of your visit. My inaction puts you on edge. You know not if, when, or where I will strike, so you have come to lay me and those worries to rest.
Or she just wanted to ask. Asking questions is a valid way of dealing with those problems.
That is the trouble of humans. Your eyes perceive only what the light shows you, and so you fear the hypothetical beasts lurking in your shadows.
'Tis only human nature to fear the unknown.
Allow me then to offer you some closure. Will your princess be holding a ceremony in your honor? Or in your memory? You are not the same as the last time we stood here. Now prove it.
Very well. If you want to fight, you can have one.
Fascinating. I take it these flames are the blessing of Viridia Magna, no? This power is far beyond the scope of our world.
This power? But not the power of my swordsmanship behind it? The kingdom forbade so much as studying the arts I use for fear of the danger they pose.
Show me your power then. Surely the kingdom can make an exception for the last of the vampires. Kill me and you will be a hero. A legend who finished what even Balthazar could not. The people cannot deny your dark methods then.
I decline.
Why? Have you no hunger for recognition? Or have you gone too soft to take life?
It's not worth it.
I could take any life required of me, including my own.
Dark?
But I'm not here for your life, and I'm not going to give you mine.
Then what are you here for?
You already said it. Closure.
Your technique is nothing like it was before. It carries none of the merciless, murderous force you once directed at me. So why does it carry such weight?
I have far too many responsibilities riding on my blade to saddle it with needless violence. Each slash is aimed with strategy. Each strike is driven by determination. You seem to have misunderstood my motives. I haven't come to slay you. I'm here to best you.
Oh? Battles are fought to seize property, land, power, lives, to gain something at the expense of another.
Yes, to prove that she's better than you means that she doesn't need to kill you. If you are significantly weaker than her, then that means you're not a threat.
If you would claim neither my life nor the reverence of your country, then what exactly do you hope to gain from this dance?
You tell me, Urias Formond. If we destroyed all in our paths, what would we be left with?
I cannot grow accustomed to this emptiness, no matter how many times I experience it.
You always have the same woe-begone expression after a disappointing battle. But that's not why you look forlorn this time, is it?
We'd be left with nothing. No one. No rivals, no challenges. You of all people should know that. And that's why you have not and will not wreak havoc on the people of Alistair. Even though our ranks grow stronger by the day.
You know me well. Indeed, I was quite bored of my self-inflicted solitude. I desperately sought entertainment, but I did not understand why. Not until I reawakened in the world without Balthazar. I was starved for that which I could not predict. The longer I lived, the less novelty there was to be found.
And that is why I'm here. Must everything be dark and gloomy with you? You said my eyes perceive only what the light shows me. But I'd say you're the one blinded by the darkness of night, vampire. So I will illuminate your future, with the life you spared and the flames you kindled. That'll mean not to extinguish my fire, but to stoke it, and I will return the favor. That is what I hope to gain from this dance. I challenge you out of respect, as one who would best you as a rival.
Interesting.
This is what makes humans so fascinating.
They're unpredictable.
A dance that never ends, where the steps grow faster and bolder with every performance. I must say, I am intrigued.
I imagined you would be. Perhaps not when I first met you, but then again, I wouldn't have understood back then either. Our journeys have empowered us.
Perhaps they have. To think, a new chapter could be written for one whose life was so complete as the last vampire.
You were the one who decided your life was complete before it was over. But I won't let pride keep me from moving forward. Don't fall too far behind.
You truly believe you can best me?
I do.
Then I offer you a proposition of my own. I will drink a drop of your blood, if you are willing to give it. Would you duel darkness incarnate? Would you unleash my full power to claim true victory?
Urias Formond, last and strongest of the vampires. Drink, and taste defeat.
Very well, human. With the deepest respect for your resolve.
This is interesting.
How long has it been since I had an opponent worthy of unleashing this power?
How often have we seen him drink blood in the story?
What a peculiar position to be in. Though my blood runs hotter than it has in centuries, I feel oddly calm, content. Even the moon cannot render the gloom of night so dazzlingly vivid as your flames. I must offer you my thanks.
Ha! Save your praise for when I beat you. Let's dance, Urias.
With pleasure. We dance till dawn, if you last that long.
So I think we're cutting to Rowan next, or Luna?
Only until dawn. I hope you aren't afraid of a little light, because I'll burn through the darkness. I'll try to spare your life, but you'll have to pardon me if I do accidentally take it.
I am afraid my life is promised to another. A rose with a will of steel. But let's set our banter aside and enjoy the bloody revelry.
Wow, he intends to keep his promise with Mono. Interesting.
We must celebrate. In the infinite and ever-adapting potential of mortals, I have found a worthy stage and partner.
The earth beneath my feet
Rowan.
shook, pushing me forward, homeward, as warm visions of the past filled my heart. And face to face with the home I tried to run from for so long. The duties I clung to dropped away as I called my family's names.
We're really checking in on everybody, huh? Dragon's Curse.
Lately, I often think, what is a battle really?
That voice. What?
Naturally, there's the common sense of the word. Combat. Proud soldiers defending our people from terrible threats like the Black Dragon.
Oh, it's just a peasant. Got it.
But, you know, I don't think soldiers are the only ones fighting for something.
Or is this Rowan's wife?
Life is a constant battle for safety, stability, happiness. All of us in Alistair, why, all of us in this whole world, experienced what it was like in those Serenity dreams. A peaceful blur of illusions, without contest or strife, or much of anything really, except the lull of deathly still dreams. But dreams end, the morning comes, and you're back in the real world, where the only way to get what you want is shedding your own blood, sweat, and tears. I did shed a few tears, but then my little girl came running, and the weight, the warmth of her climbing up onto my lap. That's what Rachel Dragspear wakes up every morning to fight for. And I know that wherever he is, it's what that old fraidy dragon's fighting for too. He'll be back. I know he will. There, table's all set.
I honestly did not remember what they looked like. It's been that long. But look, they're named characters. We still haven't learned the name of the princess.
Look! Mummy made your favorite. Meatball stew with spongy bread to dunk in your soup. Sweetie. Let's eat while it's still hot, okay?
It's been so long, I don't even know if this is the same voice actress.
Don't wanna.
Well, what about the cake? You can't have dessert until you finish your stew.
Can't have any pudding unless you eat your meat. How can you have your pudding if you don't eat your meat?
That's fine. You can start eating without me. I'm gonna wait for Daddy. He'll come home for my birthday.
Natalie, sweetie.
He'll come home, right? Right?
Don't make me cry, kid. Don't make me cry.
Oh, I wish I just stayed in that dream forever.
I'm gonna cry. Calm. Puppies. Thinking about puppies.
Shh. It's okay. Let's wait for him together.
Mommy?
We can heat the food back up when he gets here. Today's your special day, sweetie. I'm sure Daddy wants to celebrate it with you, too. He'd probably cry if we ate all the cake without him.
Wonder what kind of calendar they use.
You've got me there.
Huh?
I can handle a dragon, no problem, but missing your birthday party, I don't know if I could take it. I'm glad I made it back in time. You two gave me the strength to keep going no matter how tough things got. It's nice to be home.
Daddy!
Look how tall you've gotten. Man, you're gonna be taller than me before we know it.
she would be a really tall woman.
And you, Rachel. You look tired. I'm sorry I left you to hold down the fort all by yourself.
You'd better be. I won't pretend it wasn't tough. I missed you.
Fuck, I just remembered Isabel is still trying to get Kyle back from the dead. Oh. I hope that gets solved. And also remembered how creepy she kind of was in the anime when she made her appearance. I actually need to sit down and catch up on the sequel series anime or whatever that is going on. But yeah, she was kind of creepy.
I missed you too. You're never gonna believe what happened while you were gone.
You'll have to tell me all about it then.
Yep, so there's... Wait, Mommy, we didn't say the thing. You know, the thing?
What thing?
Well, we can't have that. On the count of 3? 1, 2, 3.
Welcome home.
Oh, I thought we were gonna say happy birthday. Okay, I got ahead of myself there.
It's good to be back.
Here, try some of this. And this. Mommy spent all day making it.
All right, I've got my own, okay? I'm not stealing extra cheese balls from the birthday girl's plate. They're your favorite.
But they're your favorite too. A lady at the castle told me all about how you slayed a dragon, and then you went on an adventure, and then you saved the world. I would be starving if I did all that.
Okay, you win. It would be an honor to accept this cheese ball, my liege.
Cheese ball.
You're welcome.
I can't imagine what it must have been like fighting battles in foreign worlds. When the other heroes came back to Alistair without you, I got worried you'd...
I'm sorry, Rachel. I hurried back as soon as I heard of Nexus's defeat, but...
You got sidetracked helping every single person you ran into on the way, just like when we first met. I know you.
Ooh, what happened when you met Daddy?
It's a long story, isn't it?
Well, not if you leave out the part where I...
Oh?
Natalie's all tucked in?
Yup, sound asleep with her teddy. Jumping all over you wore her out. She was having trouble sleeping at night, you know. And then she'd sleep in all morning, because she'd rather be off playing unicorns with Daddy in a dream.
I don't know what to say. I'm a failure of a father.
What I meant is, she's over the moon that you're back.
You know, as like a big general in like a kingdom's army, I don't imagine he has a lot of time at home with his kid, even before the whole cursed by a dragon and murder everyone that I want to protect nonsense.
You don't have to apologize, Rowan. We know you were out there fighting to save everyone from Serenity. We're proud of you.
Yeah, except what about the whole hiding ever since he became a dragon thing?
You know about Serenity already?
Yes. The princess held a public audience to share what she'd learned from the heroes who'd already returned. She explained that we owe our lives to 8 brave warriors, and that you were one of them.
Not really. Technically, Arisa deserves all the credit. All you guys did was chase her out of this world, which she kind of left everyone in a dream state here. And then you kind of just sidetracked and helped save 3 other worlds, technically. Isunia, Aeon, and Natera. Whereas, I don't know what happened to y'all after that.
Of fate.
Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Where was I? Yeah, the final battle against Nexus was pretty much handled by the people of Velsar / Arisa / Reveal. So it's kind of weird that he's getting any credit for it at all. We still have Nerva to deal with, so I'm sure they'll expand that plot in the future.
Rowan, Do you remember what I told you way back when? About being a hero?
Of course I do. You don't have to be a hero, Rowan. Just focus on keeping yourself in one piece.
Ah, now he's mocking her voice. No, when the first battle against Nexus, everybody was still asleep. And then Ewan teleported them to another world, which ended up with everyone being in Asudia.
It's just, especially after seeing other worlds and their struggles, I feel like... How do I put this?
I can already guess. You aren't afraid to take a hit or two defending people who can't defend themselves. In fact, it's what you want to do, even now.
You know me too well.
I'm your wife. I've been with you since you were a sorry excuse for a recruit. No brawn, no brains, just bruises.
I wasn't...
Oh, yes, you were. You charged straight into fights without a single thought, but somehow always made it out alive. And instead of being happy you were in one piece, you'd focus on what you could have done better. I couldn't help but take care of you, because you certainly weren't taking care of yourself.
Rachel, I guess I figured out what I need to do. I just can't quite bring myself to do it.
That's what I said, yeah. She got the final blow in Reveal, which means I don't know why these 7 are even getting credit in the story the princess is telling. That's what I'm getting at.
Because I know it isn't fair to you two. Even if I'm needed elsewhere, I'm needed here too, with the people I love.
Oh, you have to leave again?
Natalie.
Daddy's very busy saving the world.
I don't want you to go.
He has to help you and defeat Nerva, wherever the fuck she is right now. I just want to go back to fighting the giant spider.
I want you to stay here forever.
I do too, kid. I do too.
I know you can't, but I wish you could. I love you, Daddy, but I also love Commander Dragspear, the superhero who protects everyone from the bad guys. So I'll be extra good and help Mommy while you're gone.
What a good kid.
And if I get even taller in the meantime, I'll mark my height on the door every day.
I wish I did that when I was growing up, but I never lived in the same place long enough to really do that. The longest I think I ever spent in any location was 7 years. And even then, I lived in the same city for 7 years, but I lived in the same house for 5 of those years.
We can handle waiting, dear. It just helps to know you're leaving before you're gone.
And I think I was only there from 12 to 16.
I know you only did what you had to, but this time, you're not running from the past. You're moving toward a brighter future.
It is 100 degrees over here still.
And Natalie and I will be right here, cheering you on.
Hair getting in my mouth.
Rachel, Natalie.
We couldn't give you a proper send-off last time, so you're going to have to put up with me being a sap now. Rowan, no matter where life takes you, I will always love you. Good luck out there.
Yeah, and definitely get rid of all the bad guys before my next birthday.
Oof. That's a tall order, kid.
You got it, kiddo. Nothing can stop me now.
Cue the music. Don't stop me. Don't stop me. Hey, hey, hey. Okay.
I don't know what I ever did to deserve the two of you, I might just be the luckiest man alive. Seeing you again is an enormous weight off my chest. And now, I think I'm finally ready to spread my wings and soar.
I just can't seem to remember.
Oh, time to cut in on Isabel.
What was the last thing I said to Kyle? Probably nothing special. Have a good day. Stay safe out there, or... Maybe we fought because I couldn't bear him leaving on yet another dangerous mission.
Yeah, I don't remember what you said last to him either. And I ain't gonna go that far back into my videos to figure out what it was.
No matter what I do, I just can't remember. And it's not like there's anyone else who has the answer. Kyle, if only I could ask you.
Yeah, not a lot of people enjoy the story mode so much, which is one of the reasons why I recorded all of it. Because I really enjoy the story. A lot of the bigger Shadowverse streamers, they're all ladder climbers, they do events. I do that too. I don't like streaming it because for me, it's boring, there's less interactivity, and less for me to comment on. It just turns into me doing the same thing over and over again for hours and hours and hours. So yeah, I always enjoy the story. And I'm sure there's other people who have the full story on YouTube. But Shadowverse, as far as an English community goes, isn't as popular over here in it. Like, I mean, just looking at Twitch right now, there's probably less than like 30 people playing Shadowverse right now in English. Probably. I haven't checked.
Being so close to where it all happened doesn't help. I found what was left of the dragon hunting party's remains. I put together simple graves and warded the area so nothing will disturb them.
Yep, it mostly becomes down to the fact that a lot of the Shadowverse streamers realize that nobody wants to watch the streams of the story mode, so they don't do them. Me, I don't care how many viewers I do or don't get, so I stream the story mode. And because of that, in the 2 weeks that it sits here on Twitch, it'll usually sometimes get anywhere between 60 to 100 views sometimes. And then I'll put it on my YouTube after the fact, and then it'll usually get sometimes anywhere between 2 to 60 views depending on when it came out and how close to proximity I played it to when it was first released. That being said, I'm a small-time streamer, small-time YouTuber. I don't care what views I do or don't get. Which means I can get away with it, doing content like this. And it's the same advice I would give to any small streamer or YouTuber, is do something that you enjoy. That way you don't feel burdened by it or worried about whether it goes well or not, or it gets good views. And then sometimes doing something that other people don't want to do is also a good way to find a nice audience, because there is an audience for everything. It just might not be the biggest audience.
What an awful place. You guys deserved somewhere better as your final resting place.
And also, on YouTube, you can always turn these streams up to 1.25 or higher speed, so that'll get you through some of these ramblings.
It's in the middle of nowhere, and too dangerous for anyone sane to visit. This must be how Tetra felt. We avert our eyes from the inevitable, but this is what staring death eye to eye is like. I wish I could be as strong as Eleanor. Focus on the good memories, without being so damn bitter.
Isabel. It looks like we had the same idea. Thank you for doing all this.
Only did it to give myself some closure. But I can see why no one else buried them for the longest time.
The dragon's curse still lingers, permeating the soil and air. Anyone who got too close would probably find themselves joining the soldiers. Didn't have much choice but to set up temporary graves for them here. I marked them all with their weapons, though.
Neat.
Do you mind if I visit them?
This place is terrifying.
What do you think I purified and protected the whole field for? If their commander wants to pay his respects, I'm not going to stand in the way, Rowan.
Thank you.
You brought flowers. Glad to see you have at least some decency.
I'd like to think our journey changed me for the better. I wanted to address the soldiers here. You're welcome to listen if you'd like.
What's her name? Dejina? Who visits her sister's grave over in Nitera? I think he left flowers on that grave too.
Go on then.
Attention, troops!
Really? We're doing this?
This is Commander Rowan Dragspear, reporting on the completion of the expeditions against the Black Dragon and Serenity. As the Black Dragon loomed in our skies, yet another threat was preparing to invade from another world. The Keeper of Serenity. But she was driven out by our unflinching might.
Yep. You guys totally repelled her from the world. Only after she cursed the whole thing.
Not only that of the 8 warriors who embarked to other worlds, but the strength of all who took up arms in the people's defense.
Necromancy 20. Revival allied followers. Sadly, I think he doesn't have enough board space for all of them.
You, brave soldiers, saved countless civilians during the greatest peril our land has ever known. I pay my respects to you, heroes of Alistair. Unburden your souls, and sleep easy, knowing you have won your countrymen peace and prosperity.
How inspiring. Do you really think an apology like that cuts it?
That was an apology? Did I misread that? You guys are heroes. Yeah, that didn't read as an apology to me.
That some cheap praise would be enough to make them, Kyle or me, forgive you?
I didn't ask for forgiveness.
What?
My fear that I wouldn't be forgiven prevented me from apologizing. But I'm not going to run from my guilt anymore. I won't run from it, but I also won't let it hold me back. Though I misused it in the past, I've decided to use all the power I have to protect others. I won't ask your forgiveness. I ask only that you let me carry on Kyle's wishes.
You should have seen it, Belle. Commander Dragspear charged straight in and took out every single one of them.
Kyle, I finally have you all to myself, and all you talk about is Dragspear.
Oh, sorry.
Why don't you go marry him if you love him so much?
Cut it out. I just hope I can be like him someday, you know? Saving my country from evil, keeping everyone safe behind my shield, and coming home to my sweet, lovely wife.
Everyone needs role models. Well, maybe not everyone needs, but it's nice to have them nonetheless.
All right. Don't get too ahead of yourself, though. Keeping yourself safe comes before being a hero. Got it? Fine. Say, Rowan.
Speaking of bromance, I wonder how Baleon and Valdane are doing right now.
You're planning to leave, Alistair, aren't you?
Yes, we still have Nerva to deal with.
I am.
And tell me, is that because you think you aren't welcome here?
No.
Even though I wasn't in my right mind at the time, I killed Allied soldiers. Then I deliberately neglected my duty to report what happened to the Crown, and defected to escape punishment. If I were to be court-martialed today, I'd plead guilty to my crimes. my actions would merit permanent exile from this country.
And what if I told you they don't?
But
See, unlike you, I actually took my responsibility as a former royal mage seriously. I hurried back as soon as I heard Nexus had been defeated. I was giving a report on the Nexus situation anyways, so I went ahead and provided the evidence needed for your retrial. By public jury, you have been deemed not guilty.
Public jury. Nice.
I mean, as far as Alistair cares, you're one of the 8 heroes who saved the world. The people aren't about to kick you out.
Isabel, thank you for going to all that trouble for me.
Back to the question. Do you still plan to leave behind the people you love? The people who love you?
I do.
There's still more work to be done.
And you're fine with that?
Yes. Just because I can't keep them with me doesn't mean I can't keep them at heart. No matter how far from home I go, I know I'll find my way back eventually. Because my family's here anchoring me. I know it sounds cheesy. Laugh if you want. But I really mean it.
You'd better. You love your family. Anyone who'd laugh at that'll have me to answer to.
I still can't believe Tetra doesn't have a leader yet. I saw her on the poll and I'm all, wait, she doesn't have a leader yet?
I'm going to hop to another world. Who knows how many people out there are suffering because of the Keepers?
Well, it just so happens that I had the same plan. Though, for my own reasons, of course.
Yes, gotta learn how to bring back the dead.
But if we're going the same way, we might as well go together. At least for now, anyways.
Agreed.
I have a feeling I know where you're headed first, so go on ahead. I'll catch up once I've finished here.
Understood. I'll leave you to be.
Well, Kyle, it's just us now. I'm glad to have met you, and thank you for all the time we spent together.
Just you, me, and the other pile of dead corpses.
I will always love you. And you will always be with me wherever life takes me.
I'm not gonna cry.
I love you too, Isabel. Go. Enjoy your life.
Ah! Please don't respond. I said I wasn't gonna cry.
If I had to describe what losing Kyle felt like, I guess I'd say it felt like a curse. Like something beyond my control was ruining every aspect of my life. And there was nothing I could do to break free. I was so hollow. Every small misfortune seemed to echo through my heart for days, weeks, never letting me rest or forget. But now, I'm glad I could never forget. I don't want to ever forget. Kyle will always be with me, anchoring me, inspiring me. Even if remembering sometimes hurts, I'm not afraid to endure a little pain to protect the memory of the man I love.
I have a feeling Eleanor might also win the poll. I didn't vote for her because I voted for Tetra, but either one of them winning, I would honestly be fine with.
And no one's ever truly alone. We're connected to countless people, even when they're not right by our sides.
I'm actually kind of fine with the anime. I haven't caught up with the most recent season, though. It's okay. Sometimes you have to just bite the bullet and accept with a lot of these productions that the target audience for this game is not you. Look at me. I'm a 28-year-old man turning 29 in a few months. I am not this game's target audience. This game's target audience is probably people ages 13 to 16. And when you look at it through that lens, the anime is fine. It tells a different story. It is not an adaptation. It is just a story set in a more world similar to ours. When you think about it, it's different. Would I have loved to have seen an anime adaptation of the story? Yes. And considering the fact that later this year, I don't play the game, but I'm aware of it. What was it? Arknights is getting an adaptation, I think, in November of this year. And Girls Frontline, I think, had an adaptation that just came out that I'm told was very good. And even then, we also got Princess Connect last year. Got a second season, and honestly, that was probably one of the best shows of last year, in my opinion. Gacha games and card games, this is the best time to be playing them because they're starting to get their adaptations done. I would love to see adaptations done. And if you actually look close, even in the Shadowverse anime, even though it's not an adaptation, there are deep nods to what was happening at the time in the actual story mode. Like when Orisa was introduced in the Shadowverse anime, there was a little bit of a slight nod to what was currently happening to her, because the Reveal had just got to the point where she was possessed by Ishilindrig, and then that was a huge cliffhanger. We didn't get any more story for 6 months. And then the anime started. And then there was a nod to that in the anime. It was like, man, I wish I had recorded my reaction to that scene in the anime. I'm all, no, don't do this to me again. Don't do this to me again. The anime is not bad. It's average, but it does have its good moments. And hey, it also spoiled cards that weren't yet in the game. So even for that. Overall, I'd say the anime is a good 6 out of 10. And with a few standout episodes that are worth rewatching.
When loneliness starts to weigh me down, I can always revisit the good memories. Like rereading a letter from a distant friend. Neither time nor space can stop their words, their messages from reaching me.
Oh, who's next? Luna?
All that's left is a letter.
Ah, yes. Isabel, you may have been my favorite character for a while. But it's time for me to get to the best girl of the series.
I can't say I'm surprised. I suppose it is high time I faced the consequences of my actions.
Eris. Hands down the most interesting of the new characters. A lot of people don't like her, but I actually do.
I deeply apologize that we will not be present in the church when you return. I would like to stress that we are most grateful for the loving mercy you afforded us. You were our savior, a blessing from the heavens, sent to deliver unto humanity Serenity's light. You were a shining beacon that led many, many depraved souls to the safety of the church. So earnest was your supplication. The goddess of Serenity answered our prayers for deliverance, giving us peace unconditional in her dream-like embrace. We believed we had been saved, but alas, we awoke from our sweet slumber to the world we had long begged to escape.
This is dark.
Naturally, our clergy was devastated. All but for one devout follower who interpreted our situation as follows. Serenity granted us glimpses of fates we could only dream of. The 8 champions of Alistair showed us the power mortals have to realize those fates by their own hands. We have learned the meaning of hope and embarked each on our own journeys to employ it. It is my sincerest wish that this letter might inspire you to do the same. May you find peace and fortune of your own design.
Guess she's not getting credit for being one of those 8?
This is a relief. I'm glad the other believers were able to open their eyes. The liberation we sought, the calamity I unleashed, should never have been forced upon others. In my despair, I committed a grave and terrible sin. But, though the people I damned to Nexus's serenity now walk free, my crimes are not irreversible. No. What am I saying?
Priestess, do you have a moment?
Uh-oh.
Certainly. How can I help you?
Red eyes. Always making note of her eye color.
Are you sure the gods are really listening to our prayers?
Of course. Nexus hears all our woes, but she cannot act upon them. Not yet. She requires the truest prayers, born of the truest suffering. Only when the world is replete with sorrow will Nexus give us eternal serenity.
But I cannot endure anymore. The morning star smiles so sweetly in the heavens.
Wait, I think I just realized. Is the morning star not hovering above the realm anymore? Is that why this chapter is called The Missing Star? Not this chapter, but this story.
You have earned the mercy of eternal rest. Your tears nourished the budding advent of peace. You need work no more. I have committed grave deeds that cannot be reversed. I sacrificed countless lives to summon Nexus.
But remember what Marlowe and Median said. You must not dwell on it. You must look towards the future and try to save as many lives as you have ruined, if not more.
The silence of this cursed place is heavy, as though laden with screams and accusations my mortal ears cannot hear. Nexus is gone. No longer are we frozen in time. And yet, the solitude of an empty cathedral is chilling. Marlone.
Rest in peace, big guy. We voted for you, Marlone.
Huh?
Uh-oh. That's not good. Just summon Relic Goddess. Oh, welcome back, Luna. I was wondering about you.
Luna?
Where am I? Is this your house?
How are we going to resolve her story?
This is a church. Although I suppose it is my place of residence. Welcome back to Alistair. I'm glad you made it home safe and sound. It is a pleasure to cross paths with you again.
Oh, it's nice to see you too. But...
You know, she's one of the characters that might have actually been better off not coming back.
I'm not really sure I'm glad to be back. I'm kinda scared to go home.
Speaking of Relic Goddess and Lure of Shadows, the episode of the anime where Eris actually summons forth that Relic Goddess is a really cool episode. That is one of those episodes that is a highlight that I would recommend rewatching. It is a good episode. All of those episodes where they deal the protagonists of this game are really good episodes.
Nervous? I understand completely. It took me considerable resolve to come back to this place. The thought of facing my past petrified me. But here I am.
Why? Did you do something bad?
Yes, very.
I did. I was sure I'd be scolded, and feared no punishment would ever be enough to redeem myself.
What are you talking about? Everyone here says they're worried about you. They're sad that you're sad. The guy wearing an outfit like yours says they've been trying to tell you they forgive you.
Oh, that's right. She sees dead people. I forgot about that.
See?
What was that light?
The people that were here, they all passed on. They were waiting for you to get back before they left this world.
Luna, what did they look like? Did they seem... no, never mind.
Are you sure?
Yes, don't mind me. You gave me more than I could ever ask for. To want more would be greedy.
If you say so. Grown-ups are weird.
I did some very selfish things, Luna.
I forget
It's
how
about
old
time
she's
I
supposed
grew
to
up.
be. She's like 12 to 14, right?
I cannot thank you enough. You are an angel.
I'm happy I could help.
I hope I can return the favor. Let's go.
Go where?
You're home. You said you were feeling apprehensive like I was. You helped me apologize to the worshippers here. So, I would like to offer my assistance. Or at the very least, my companionship on the road.
Well, it's pretty far, but if you don't mind, it wouldn't be as scary if you were with me.
It would be my pleasure. That's what friends are for.
Friends? You'll be my friend? Can I call you Eris then? Can I hold your hand?
Of course.
This is wholesome. Anyone who says otherwise has got a screw loose. And I have several screws loose. So many screws loose.
Thanks, Eris. Let's hurry. I haven't had anyone ever to play with in forever.
This is farewell.
Remember when playing with her meant dying? I'm glad that we moved out of that phase. She was super creepy at the start.
Despite the pain we endured here, I will always remember fondly the people who bore it with me. Goodbye.
Here we are. Make yourself at home.
Ah, yes. Creepy manor on the woods.
Yes. Thank you, Luna.
It's freezing in here. I wish I knew how to start the fireplace.
What should I do to help now, Luna? You still haven't explained what the things you bought are for.
You'll see. Can you wait here for a bit?
Oh, that's right. Her dead parents are with her at all times.
Sure. I'll be here whenever you're ready.
Thanks. I'll be right back.
I saw the mansion in Luna's dreams, so I knew what I was getting myself into, but I didn't expect the miasma to be so thick. Luna is an incredibly powerful necromancer. The mansion teems with undeath. She must have done this before she understood her talents, or how to fully control them. She was rather firmly in denial of her parents' deaths. I cannot say I blame her, though.
Mother! Father, what's happening? What is it? Mother and Father! Wake up!
It's not exactly something a 10 to 12 to 14-year-old should have to go through.
No! No! No, no! No! Give them
Like
back!
this.
Give my mother and father back!
They were murdered here before her very eyes.
Yeah. We know that much.
I don't understand why she would want to come back to a place like this, even if it was her home.
Eris! I'm back.
Oh, Luna. What's that basket you've got there? You look very cute with it.
Really? Mother wove it for me herself. It's my favorite.
She was very skilled. I'm sure she must have put a lot of love into it.
Yup. Mother and Father loved me as much as I loved them. Here, look what's inside the basket.
You made sandwiches? They look delicious, Luna.
Mm-hmm. Mother used to make them all the time. And when we were in Asunia, the guy from the church made me one too.
Nicola Adele.
Marlone, the one with glasses.
Yeah, Marlone. That's right, Marlone made the sandwiches. Man, I miss this guy. Which is why I'm really hoping that he shows up again in the Empyrean Inn. Because if my theory is correct and that it is the afterlife, we might see quite a few dead characters show up there. We might see Leon again. We might see Marlone again. I'm like 99% confident that the lady in the hood is Maisha. Ooh, and we might even see the best villain come back. We might see Baphomet again. Oh, I'm so excited to see where the Empyrean Inn storyline goes. I'm so excited.
Ah, yes.
I thought sandwiches were just okay because they're just sandwiches, you know what I mean? But Marlone's sandwich reminded me of home, and now they're my favorite food.
Sandwiches.
Go on, give it a try.
Not sponsored, but I also eat probably Subway maybe 3 to 5 times a week. Just because on my way to and from work, I pass 2 Subways, and it's kind of hard to ignore them.
Oh, yes, thank you.
How is it?
Very good, Luna.
Don't talk with your mouth full.
You mean it? Well, that's the kind Mother used to make. Try this one too. I also tried to recreate what Marlone made for me. I know it's a lot of food, but I wanted to make both.
Luna, slow down. You'll make yourself sick eating that fast.
You sound like Mother.
I'm glad that she had a nice moment. Marlone is a very underappreciated character in this series, and he has such a huge role in the story.
Oh.
It's amazing how a character that died still has this much pull.
There was one time we had a picnic, except I wanted to keep playing, so I tried to eat really fast. But then, the food went down the wrong pipe. Mother was so worried and upset. I got in a lot of trouble. Almost as much as the time when I ran away because I didn't want to do my studies. It started getting late, but then I realized I didn't know where I was. It was too dark to see anything. I was scared I'd never find my way home. But then Father came and found me. But I can take care of myself now. I can make food all by myself, and I went to other worlds and still found my way back home. Mother, Father, I know you've been watching over me the whole time, but...
I think I understand what Luna was really nervous about. She wasn't afraid of facing her past. She was just a little wary of taking the next big step towards moving on.
You see how grown up I am now, right? You don't have to worry about me anymore. I'll be okay by myself. So... you can rest now.
I'm not gonna cry.
Mother, Father.
No matter how much my brain tells me to.
It'll all be over soon.
Luna, stop.
No!
Please, Luna. I will stop you by force if I have to. Your parents are bound to this world by a deep connection to you. The necromantic energy channeling their spirits is an innate part of you. Forcibly severing it would pose great risks to your...
I don't care. It's hurting them.
They love you, Luna. It would hurt your parents far more to see you sacrifice your life for them. They're already dead, but you still have so much to live for.
You're right. I'm sorry. I know I have to say goodbye, but... then... why am I so relieved that I can stay with them a bit longer? If I wasn't so weak and selfish, then they wouldn't have to feel all this pain.
Shh. You're not selfish.
Eris?
You were scared of coming back here and letting them go. You weren't sure you could bring yourself to let them go. But you tried. You've made so much progress towards accepting your parents' deaths. You don't have to be ready right now. It's perfectly normal to be lonely and upset. Circumstance pressured you to grow up fast. But deep down, you're still a child. And that's okay. You don't need to blame yourself, Luna. You're gentle, kind, and would never hurt your parents on purpose.
But
Part of accepting loss is understanding that missing someone doesn't have to hurt.
Huh?
On your journey, you met many people. Even though you had to say goodbye and keep going, remembering them makes you happy, doesn't it?
It does. There was Nicola, and Ania, and Clunky, and lots of people.
Remember, guys, true necromancy isn't about the journey. It's about the friends we lost along the way.
Yes, hold on tight to those memories. Keep making connections with people you meet, and when you feel cold and lonely, let the good times you shared with others warm your heart. Then, you will be ready to lay your parents to rest.
Eris, I'll do my best. I'll make lots of new friends, best friends, people who feel like family. I'll learn how to make the loneliness go away, so I can send my parents off with a smile. So, I guess that means I've got to go and start looking for more people to be my friends.
Look at her. She's grown so much, hasn't she, Marlone? She'll be okay.
I'm sure she will be. And she will probably still be creepy. But I don't know how long it'll take her to fully grow out of that. I feel like she's almost there. But I'll give it another year.
Well, why don't you start by joining me for a walk? There's somewhere I'd like to take you before you leave. And these sandwiches would be perfect for a picnic out in the sun.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Here, would you like to hold hands?
Your hand's so warm.
So is yours, Luna. There is no sense despairing over the past or future. Though our time may be limited, that is all the more reason to enjoy it for what it is, with the precious people who share it.
So I think we just have to check in on Ewan now?
Too long did I encourage people to wallow in their sorrows. From now on, I will endeavor to extend warmth to those who seek hope. As a priestess, I should know better than any that there is comfort to be found in love beyond our mortal comprehension.
Or unless that might be the end. 7 reunited wills.
This world once bore the mark of the morning star. A symbol of liberation. The answer to prayers. An eternal release from suffering. Offered by those who would decide the world's fate for it.
Oh, I didn't notice that. That is a pretty apt comparison.
The Keepers. Invaders who neither know nor care about mortal life's potential. Because they've already decided what's best for us. Eternal slumber in painless dreams. Impartial universal destruction of all things good and evil. The Keepers are convinced that their ways are the only ways to solve world's problems. But I'm not. We're not. 7 wills rejected Serenity's dreams in favor of their own, very real goals. Goals that they have every right to pursue, even if they seem all but impossible. Those 7 prove Nexus's patronizing contempt unfounded, overcoming countless hardships to walk their chosen paths. And while they did not walk hand in hand as friends, they did walk together as allies, united against a common foe.
Oh, the nostalgia's really starting to hit me now. It's kind of weird looking up and not seeing the morning star. After fighting Nexus and Reveal, I'm amazed we managed to defeat her here way back when.
Yeah, that'd be true.
Nexus wasn't at her full strength yet. The Keepers need time to attune to their vessels. I'm sure your friend Losaria didn't make it easy. She had the world to protect. And you, Arisa.
Eris, Luna! You made it back! It's good to see you too, Elf Lady.
Elf Lady.
Elf Lady? You can just call me Arisa. We're friends, right? Yeah. It's good to see you too.
I keep bringing it up every time, but yeah, Arisa, if I remember right, she's somewhere between 24 and 26. Because she's just supposed to be slightly younger than Losaria. And I guess she's just small.
We are truly fortunate.
But she does look a lot older with this design, and it also makes her look a little bit older when you compare her to, like, someone like Eris and Luna. So, if she was a human, I would probably peg her as, like, 18. Somewhere in the 16 to 18 range. But again, elf. Elf lady.
The world is safe from Nexus's clutches, and we are all alive to see it. Although, I dare say, I did more to help Nexus than hinder her.
Eris. I beat Nexus with the help of the people from 2 worlds. Reveal and Velsar. Everything turned out okay in the end. You don't have to blame yourself anymore, okay?
Thank you, Arisa.
The one who heralded Serenity's reign, and the one who ended it, hand in hand.
Poetic.
Smiling, leaving the past behind them.
To quote George Lucas, it's like poetry. It rhymes.
Huh? Hey, is that the vampire guy over there? Oh, it is! Urias!
Ah, what a glorious fight. The exhilaration of it still lingers. A pity I had to bring the fight to an end.
He also made... He's covered in traces of Neteran ether. The power Viridia Magna gave Erica.
Hmm? Ah, I did not notice you 3 there. I am afraid I was somewhat distracted. You see, I just enjoyed the most thrilling dance.
Urias Formand, explain yourself.
Yeah, how was sparring with Erica? It must have been so much fun.
What?
What?
I spar with Losaria all the time too. Practicing with a rival is so much nicer than practicing all by yourself, isn't it?
That it is. I would venture to say it was the most exhilarating fight I have had yet.
Urias Formand, get back here! What do you mean exhilarating? You toyed with me until I couldn't stand, then got bored and just left me there. When I get my hands on... Oh! Ugh.
Looks like everyone else beat us here.
Because the girls get stuff done. And I'm stuck with a slow oaf like you.
The creature of night who terrorized these lands, and the royal guard sent to slay him. One who lost the love of her life, and the man responsible for it. Fate would have written their tales as tragedies, and yet, they have overcome their destinies.
Erica! Rowan! Isabel! We all had the same idea after all. I had a feeling I'd find you guys here.
It's been so long. Where do we start?
Commander Dragspear, if I may speak.
Of course. What is it, Erica?
Allow me to first congratulate you on your successful return, Commander. And, well...
Erica?
The princess needs you.
If you have something to say, just say it.
The kingdom would like
while
you
you
back.
still have the chance.
Well, I still,
Who knows when you'll see each other again? Or if you'll see each other again at all.
You're right, Arisa. Thank you.
There's no need to stand on ceremony on my account, Erica. Please.
Very well. I know this is a long time coming, but I wanted to apologize to you for what I said last time we met on this road. I was harsher than I should have been.
Oh, that's what you're on to see about? I don't... This is so long ago for me. This is like 4 years ago for me, it feels like. I barely remember that. I think you called him what, a deserter? Is that it?
There's nothing to apologize for. You made a sound decision based on the information you had.
Ah, so the timid dragon has grown. To know your faults, and thirst to overcome them, that is the first step to seeking true strength.
Oh, what an absolute honor to receive advice from the ancient and all-knowing Urias Formand. Just you wait. I'll rip that condescending smirk off your face eventually.
What a proposal. I shall eagerly anticipate seeing you try.
A cocky bastard.
Sounds like the match between you two was wild. What went down exactly? It's like you became best friends overnight.
By chance or by fate, the 7 strangers who met on this road walk it once more as allies. Guiding, encouraging each other along the way. Their initial goals completed, original struggles overcome. They set their sights on greater challenges yet unseen.
If in any other series, I would say that's probably one of the weirdest ships. But the way the story is written, it's ironically fitting.
It's weird how nostalgic it feels meeting all of you again. I mean, everything's so different from last time. Nexus trapped everyone else in dreams. And even though we were the only people left to stop her, we just couldn't get along and work together. But look at us now.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
But we're friends now, right? Exactly. And birds of a feather flock together. We all hurried home to tie up loose ends before we set off on our next big adventure. And then we all came straight here to pick up where we left off.
That we did.
Birds of a feather indeed.
It certainly is quite the coincidence that we all came here at the same time.
It's not a coincidence. It just goes to show how much we bonded over our journey, doesn't it?
It does. Perhaps that is why our 8th companion does not join us. Ewan Gilfrey. He has not yet completed his revenge. The Keeper of Purgation, Nerva, still lives.
That it does. Finally, someone brought it up other than me, the player.
We'll help take down Nerva and any other keepers we run into on the way. Who knows what else they could do to this world otherwise.
I think it's funny that there's keepers we haven't met in the story mode that have cards, and yet Nerva still doesn't have a card to my knowledge. They're probably saving it to be something absolutely broken that's going to come out at some point down the line.
Rowan, Isabel, and I already received permission to pursue the Keepers, and I did what I could to prepare the troops for our absence.
Probably something broken with fusion.
This isn't over just because we got what we wanted. We're too powerful to turn a blind eye and make the Keepers someone else's problem.
Especially not after all Ewan did for us. He saved us from the brink of despair, and gave us the means to defeat Nexus.
If I help, maybe he'll be friends with me. I promised Mother and Father that I'd make lots of new friends.
Yeah. But granted how that storyline ended, I have a feeling the Keeper's stagnation might have also been absorbed by Nerva, considering how much Nerva seemed to not show up in that storyline.
Well then, before we all get going, I made little presents for everyone. Here.
Oh yes! What'd she make out of the tree branch? I had already forgotten.
A wooden charm on a twine strap. Did you carve this? Craftsmanship is amazing.
A little forest fairy. It's beautiful, Orisa.
This is no ordinary trinket.
It's imbued with magic from the elven forests. You can feel the power of nature coursing through the wood.
Oh, it feels warm and gentle. I love it, Orisa.
This charm appears to bear divine blessing. Orisa, what is this?
Elven craftsmanship.
I visited the Tree of Life to take the Forest Guardian trials, and after I finished them, it gave me one of its branches as a parting gift. When I saw it, I just knew I had to make little matching charms for the 8 of us. You know, in memory and celebration of all the challenges we overcame together.
We gotta get that power of friendship in here somehow. Also, side games, if you're listening. If Power of Friendship is not a card yet, get on that.
Even if we get split up again, these little charms will remind us of each other, and we'll always be a team.
Power of Friendship has to be a bronze card, and it has to be a spell. Let's just make it a... Let's make it a 0 mana, put 2 creatures in your hand. Of course you would. Who wouldn't? Anyone who loves anime definitely would have made a Power of Friendship custom card.
I know I'll meet Ewan again someday too. Cause I'm not stopping until I give him this charm.
The end of one journey is the beginning of another.
So the fact that he's narrating means that he's been creepily just watching this go down.
One even greater than the last.
I love the epic music. I just hate when the sad music kicks in. And my sexy pipe organ. I love the sexy pipe organ when that kicks in. I kind of miss it. That's the Eris as a villain was probably the most interesting part of the first arc for me.
They are grounded by the loved ones back home and the peace they must protect. And at the same time, they are uplifted by the duties entrusted to them, their purposes.
Still don't have a name for this character.
They have taken charge of the present and can begin moving ahead to seize the future.
They had an opportunity to give the character a name and increase the ties between her and Erica, and they missed the opportunity. They gave up on it.
They soar, tearing through the night like shooting stars. In a blink, they leave the world they knew behind. And blaze shining trails of hope. While those trails are still short and scattered, their paths will one day connect as mighty constellations. Constellations, which I too would like to be a part of.
What are you grinning about? Let me guess, you've got another crazy plan to flip this damn world on its head.
Who is that?
Crazy? Perhaps it is crazy. I don't understand how or why the heart holds such power. But I know no stronger force.
Well, that was great. I'm really glad we got to check in again. Yeah. Well, that's an exciting prelude. I'm glad to know that the main cast is getting ready to go on another adventure. But in the meantime, I still want to see where we're going with the Empyrean Inn. I forget her name right now, but the Shadowcraft girl is probably going to be the last one here before we go into the finale. Anna Sage, thank you. Just considering that they seem to release these about 6 months apart from each other, it's amazing how much story we've gotten at this point. Now let's just spend my gold at the end. Who knows? We might get something good. We started with pack opening, we'll end with pack opening. Here comes a legendary. We've opened a ton of legendaries already. I'm actually not expecting one in these 3 packs. We opened like 30 packs already and we got like maybe 5, 6, 7 legendaries. Nope. Did I create all the vials? Yeah, about 6,000 vials right there from all the card packs we've opened today. So I could probably make another deck and start getting back into the ladder climbing, but I'll probably save that for another day. Those streams are mostly, I just make them one-off streams, like when I have free time and nothing better to do. But here's my send-off for the day. Till next time. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Bye-bye.